Hey nerds, it's Sunday, October 13th, the 42nd week of 2024, and I'm running down what's coming up this week, starting now. Welcome back to the Nerd Hill Show. I'm Nathan. As always, if you want to jump ahead of the intro to see what's coming up on any day of this week, there are chapter links below. All right, let's get started. Today on Sunday, we have Ridley, episode 5 of season 2, Fool for Love, part 1. A man is shot dead during an illegal rave on a building site. Ridley and the team investigate, bringing them into a murky world of the victim's wealthy family, who hold a closely guarded secret. Carol becomes worried about her son Jack. Moonflower Murders, episode 5. The edits reveal that Merton Webster had a motive to kill Cecily. Liam Corby tells Susan that he knows a secret of Lisa's. There is no episode of Matlock this week. It comes back on the 17th. From episode 4, There and Back Again, Wood is forced to make a tough decision when newcomers arrive in the town at nightfall. Victor unearths memories from the past in the hopes of finding answers. The Penguin, episode 4, Centauri, confronting the events that turned her into the Hangman and led to a decade-long fight for survival in Arkham, Sophia makes plans for a more hopeful future. I've seen this episode already. Colin is doing reviews of this every week, and there's a link above to the playlist. Our review of this will be out 10 p.m. tonight. The Walking Dead, Daryl Dixon, episode 3 of season 2, La Invisible. Carol searches for intel. Daryl and Isabel rush to rescue one of their group. Prouvaire groups their forces. No episode of Crapopolis tonight. I think it's preempted by a Family Guy special, which I'll get to later. The next episode will air on the 20th. No episode of Simpsons either tonight, probably for the same reason. The next episode will be on the 20th as well. There's a new episode of the franchise, episode 2, scene 36, The Invisible Jackhammer. Hoping to wrap on a complicated stunt by the end of the day, Dan faces unsolicited scrutiny from DAG, while Anita asserts herself as the film's newest producer, and Eric demands more extras. And the aforementioned Family Guy special, Peter Pumpkin Cheater, is tonight. Peter and his friends aim to unseat the reigning champion of Quahog's annual pumpkin contest by any means necessary. On Monday, we have a new episode of Brilliant Minds, Chapter 4, The Killer Bride. When a bloody bride stumbles into Bronx General, Wolf goes to extreme measures to race against the clock to save her and her missing husband. Erica and Jacob must find a reason for their John Doe patient not to get transferred out of their care. Have episode 3 of season 4 of Superman and Lois, entitled Always My Hero. Reeling from failure, Jordan begins to spiral while Jonathan discovers newfound strength. General Lane recruits John Henry and Natalie Irons to the DoD before making a choice that will change everything. On Tuesday, we have a new episode of Only Murders in the Building, entitled Lifeboat. This is episode 8 of season 4. Charles, Oliver, and Mabel combine forces with the film actors in an epic showdown against the West East. You can't handle the truth. As usual, we'll have a spoiler-free review and a breakdown up for this. You can check out the playlist above. New episode of High Potential, Survival Mode. Morgan is excited to get her official LAPD badge despite Keradic's reluctance. The detectives work tirelessly on an emotional missing children case, which hits close to home for Morgan and sends her mind into overdrive. Have a new episode of Where's Wanda on Apple's TV Plus. There isn't a description for this episode, but the title is The Vincents. We have a new episode of Irrational. A kick in the teeth. The FBI needs Alec and his team to help stop a serial killer terrorizing the suburbs. As the bodies pile up, Alec helps the police uncover what's really driving this murderer to choose his victims. Also on Tuesday, we have the entire season of Beyond Black Beauty dropping on Amazon Prime. Julie Dubois' Olympic aspirations are stalled when her mother moves them from Belgium's elite stables to a family ranch in Baltimore. We have a special on Netflix, Rachel Bloom, Death Let Me Do My Special. If you're a fan of Crazy Ex-Girlfriend, you'll recognize Rachel Bloom. The description of this special is comedian and actor Rachel Bloom muses on birth, death, cosmic uncertainty, and pungent trees in this whimsical and reflective musical comedy special. On Tuesday, we also have the BET Hip Hop Awards of 2024. Grammy-nominated recording artist Joe will take on the hosting duties at this year's show, and the nominees for Culture's Biggest Night are here. Megan Thee Stallion leads this year's nominations with an outstanding 12 nods. Kendrick Lamar follows with 11 nods. Drake rounds out the top 3 with an impressive 8 nods. Cardi B, Glorilla, Metro Boomin, and Nicki Minaj each score 7 nods. Future and Travis Scott tie with 6 nods each. Also on Tuesday, we have Alien Romulus coming to VOD on DVD. Terrifying sci-fi thriller takes phenomenally successful Alien franchise back to its iconic roots. While scavenging the deep ends of a derelict space station, a group of young colonizers come face to face with the most relentless and deadly life form in the universe. Our review for this movie is above. We reviewed it when it came out in theaters. Finally, on Tuesday, we have Reagan coming to VOD on Tuesday, a drama based on the life of Ronald Reagan from his childhood to his time in the Oval Office. On Wednesday, we have a new episode of Agatha All Along. This will be episode 6. Episode 5 was a bagger. We only got the first 4 episodes as critics. Colin put up a review of 5, and he'll put up a review of 6 as well. There's a playlist above for those reviews. We have a new episode of Grotesquerie. Lois is forced to make a difficult decision. A new episode of Secrets of the Dead. This is episode 6 of season 21. The Herculean Scrolls. Making headlines around the world, Brent Seals and his team of computer scientists set out on a mission to read the 2,000-year-old carbonized scrolls found in the remains of a villa in Abbott Elementary. Ringworm, season 4, episode 2. When it's revealed that a student in Jacob's class has ringworm, the faculty must band together to stop it from spreading through the entire school. Finally, on Tuesday, we have the season premiere of Shrinking. Season 2, a grieving therapist starts to break the rules and tell his clients exactly what he thinks. Ignoring his training and ethics, he finds himself making huge, tumultuous changes to people's lives, including his own. The first season of this is great. I'm going to try to actually watch the second season over the next day or so. We'll see if we can cover this because I really like this show. On Thursday, we have Reasonable Doubt. This is the season finale encore. The verdict for Chanel's case comes back. Jax and Lewis have to figure out what their future looks like. Legend of Vox Machina. We get 3 more episodes this week. Found, episode 3 of season 2. Missing While Lonely. Betty Connolly, an elderly widow engaged to a convicted murderer, disappears on the day of her wedding. Trent reveals chilling new findings surrounding the death of Sir's mother. Meanwhile, Gabby baits Sir with a game of cat and mouse involving the case and navigates the fallout within her M&A family. We have the premiere of the show Georgie and Mandy's First Marriage. For those fans of Big Bang Theory and Young Sheldon, Georgie and Mandy navigate the challenges of adulthood, parenting, and marriage while raising their young family in Texas. The first episode is titled The 610 to Lubbock. Georgie and Mandy get fed up staying with her parents and reconsider their living situation after a fight with Mandy's mom. The season premiere of Ghosts, season 4, episode title is Patience. While Sam and the ghost race to find him, Isaac comes face to face with the Puritan ghost Patience for the first time since she was lost in the dirt. We have the complete first season of The Pradeeps of Pittsburgh from Amazon Prime, an Indian family and the tumultuous yet humorous events of the 2 years since they arrived in Pittsburgh. Amazon Prime also has a movie dropping called Brothers. 2 criminal twin brothers, Josh Brolin and Peter Dinklage, when trying to reform, embark on a dangerous heist road trip. Facing legal troubles, gunfights, and family drama, they must reconcile their differences before their mission leads to self-destruction. I'm gonna try to get a screener for this. This also has Glenn Close in it. Given her recent work, I'm really interested to see how she transforms in this movie. The trailer looks interesting, similar to Twins with Danny DeVito and Arnold Schwarzenegger. On Netflix, we have a movie, The Shadow Strays. Codename 13, a 17-year-old assassin, is suspended due to a sloppy mission in Japan. She meets 11-year-old Muji, who loses his mother and sets out to rescue him. This looks interesting. We'll try to get a screener for this one as well. On Friday, we have The Great British Baking Show. This will be episode 4. No description for this, but last week was Bread Week. The Confidant, episode 2. Don't have a description for this episode, but this is about the Parisian rock music fan who, after witnessing the harrowing events of the 2015 Paris attack, quickly joins a community of survivors. I missed this last week, but Apple TV Plus also has a show called Disclaimer. They're dropping 2 episodes this week. Follows Catherine Ravencroft, a television documentary journalist whose work has been built on revealing the transgressions of long-respected institutions. Kate Blanchett, Kevin Kline, and Sacha Baron Cohen star this This is a show created and written by Alfonso Cuarón. We have the complete second season of The Devil's Hour debuting on Amazon on Friday as well. A woman who wakes up every night at exactly 3 a.m. in the middle of the so-called Devil's Hour, 3 a.m. and 4 a.m. This is the Peter Capaldi show. A new show on Max called It's Florida Man. The trailer for this is wild. It's sort of like a drunk case history. They recount Florida Man stories and stars basically play the parts, but it looks like they also have interviews with the actual people in the story. So the description is an irreverent late night series bringing to life unbelievable tales from Florida, featuring interviews with locals and comedic reenactments starring a rotating cast of actors and comedians covering diverse topics with humor and heart. We have a couple movies. Maxine is coming to the streaming service Max on Friday. In 1980s Hollywood, adult film star and aspiring actress Maxine Minks finally gets her big break. But as a mysterious killer stalks the starlets of Hollywood, a trail of blood threatens to reveal her sinister past. Our review for this movie is above, or we'll put a link below. We have Mads on Shudder, a teenager who stops off to see his dealer to test a new drug before heading off a night of partying. On the way home, he picks up an injured woman and the night takes a surreal turn. We have a movie on Netflix called Woman of the Hour, the stranger-than-fiction story of an aspiring actor in 1970s Los Angeles and a serial killer in the midst of a years-long murder spree, whose lives intersect when they're cast on an episode of The Dating Game. This trailer for this also looks wild. It stars Anna Kendrick. We'll see if we can get a screener for this. Caligula, the ultimate cut, comes to VOD on Friday. Tormented by the murder of his family, the young, wary Caligula, Malcolm McDonald, eliminates his devious adoptive grandfather, Tiberius, Peter II, and seizes control of the declining Roman Empire as he descends into a spiral of depravity, destruction, and madness. Children of the Pines will be on VOD, a horror story about a young college student, Riley, who, while visiting her estranged parents, learns they are partaking in supernatural healing for their family trauma. I Will Never Leave You Alone on VOD. After being released from prison, a brooding man with a dark past is forced to stay in a haunted house to clear it of spirits. After he leaves, he goes back to prison, but the witch ghost might be more punishment than he can withstand. On VOD, we have Lee, the story of photographer Elizabeth Lee Miller, a fashion model who became acclaimed correspondent for Vogue magazine during World War II. I talked about this a couple weeks ago when it was out in theaters. I actually have a screener for this. I will try to get to this and review it before it comes out in VOD. In theaters, we have Goodrich. Andy Goodrich's life is upended when his wife enters a rehab program, leaving him on his own with their young kids. Goodrich leans on his daughter from his first marriage, Grace, as he ultimately evolves into the father Grace never had. Also on Friday, we have Smile 2. About to embark on a world tour, global pop sensation Sky Riley begins experiencing increasingly terrifying and inexplicable events. Overwhelmed by the escalating horrors and pressures of fame, Sky is forced to face her past. I am going to go to a press screen of this later in the week, so we will have a review up later in the week as well. And more limited release this week, we have Nora, a young sex worker from Brooklyn, meets and impulsively marries the son of an oligarch. Once the news reaches Russia, her fairy tale is threatened as the parents set out for New York to get the marriage annulled. I'm going to try to actually see this as well before it comes out. Bookworm, 11-year-old Mildred's world is turned upside down when her estranged father, the washed-up magician Strawn Wise, comes to look after her and agrees to take her camping to find a mythological beast known as the Canterbury Panther. This stars Elijah Woods. Looks pretty funny. Die Alone tells the story of a young man who has amnesia. He bands together with a rugged survivalist in a zombie-like outbreak to find his girlfriend. This movie seems to have Carrie Ann Moss and Frank Grillo in it. Might be interesting. Exhibiting Forgiveness. A black artist on the path to success is derailed by an unexpected visit from his estranged father, a recovering addict desperate to reconcile. Together they struggle and learn that forgetting might be a greater challenge than forgiving. I actually saw this earlier this year at Sundance. I will try to get a review of this as well. The Line. A university student lives life without fear of consequences. Rumor. The leaders of 7 wealthy democracies get lost in the woods while drafting a statement on a global crisis, facing danger as they attempt to find their way out. This trailer looks hilarious. Hopefully the movie is just as funny. And finally on Friday, Union, a group of current and former Amazon workers in New York City's Staten Island challenges one of the world's largest companies in a unionization battle. Finally on Saturday, we actually have the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame induction ceremony. The 2024 Rock and Roll Hall of Fame induction will be live on Saturday, October 19th at the Rocket Mortgage Fieldhouse in Cleveland, Ohio. The ceremony will once again stream live on Disney Plus with a special airing on ABC at a later date and available on Hulu the next day. So that's it for this week. If you want us to cover any of the productions we aren't already covering, comment below, and if we get enough requests, we'll try to work them into our production schedule. And if you found this video useful, be sure to like and share, and subscribe to make sure you don't miss our next update, our analysis, reviews, or news coverage. See you in the next one, guys. Bye.